Alright, y'all. It's been over a week since I should have uploaded. I'm sorry, but I have a good reason. Some of you may have seen that I put up a post on my channel saying that I was in the hospital last Sunday night. You might have seen it like Monday morning, something along those lines. That's kind of the half truth. I was in fact in the hospital, but it wasn't me. Here's the full story. So, currently, Knocked Loose is on tour with Show Me the Body, Speed, and Loathe. What an amazing lineup, by the way. Like, oh my god. So I saw that they were coming to my city, decided to go, and so I did. This was last weekend. So it was me and one of my close friends who went with me. This was her very first hardcore show that she'd ever been to, of like the hardcore metalcore kind of thing. So I was kind of excited to like show her this part of the world. And for the first like 3 sets, she was having a great time. Speed did like their classic hardcore thing. That was super fun. I got to do some two-stepping in the pit, which I didn't know how much I missed until I was there. That was an absolute blast. Up next was Loathe, who I'm not a huge fan of. I've seen them before when they were touring with Periphery. They are not quite my thing, but they're definitely super solid live. And then we saw Show Me the Body, who I had never heard of prior to this, but oh my god, they are sick. They're doing something really unique. I haven't heard anything like it, because they're doing like hardcore punk kind of stuff with a fucking banjo, which is so cool. That was a ton of fun to dance to. And then we got to the main event. Everything went super great up to this point. Knocked Loose. I hear the first couple notes of Blinding Faith come on, and I'm so excited. Their new album has been like on repeat for me. I was so beyond stoked to hear them play it. The whole crowd is like packed. This was a sold out venue. As soon as that first like kick drum hits, it was just absolute mayhem. I expected there to be like how it is at most shows where like the sides and the back are kind of chill. The people who want to sing are up front, and then there's the pit in the middle. The entire floor was a pit. Everybody was jumping, everyone was singing, everyone was like fighting each other. I had never been in a pit with that much energy, and it was like absolutely electrifying. Like, it's so exciting to be in that kind of environment. But my friend, she was kind of like, what the fuck do I do? She had never been in this kind of situation before where everything's happening at once and everyone's moving. The crowd was a liquid. Most of the set goes completely fine. People are having fun. I get to throw a few spin kicks in the pit. Night's going fantastic. Everyone's having a blast. Unfortunately, that is not how the night continued. So, during one of the songs, it was right after they played Mistakes Like Fractures. I don't remember exactly the song because these get kind of blurry for me after this point. There was a ton of crowd surfing going on, and my friend unfortunately got punched in the face and knocked down by a crowd killer, and just super bad timing on everybody's part. But as soon as she gets knocked down, a crowd surfer falls on top of her, and my friend starts screaming. So I start to panic, because she's not the type of person to be like super over dramatic about that kind of thing. So I'm like, oh my god, something is so seriously wrong. So I get down, I check on her, it's like, hey, can you stand? I'm like trying to get her out of this pit as soon as I can, but she's screaming about her back. So I'm like terrified about a spine injury. So I ask her like, hey, can you stand? How do you feel? She's like, everything hurts, and she's just crying in tears. I'm like, okay, got it. She is able to stand, so I help her get out of the pit. We go back to the back of the venue where there's the emergency response team. Unbelievably professional people. so sweet, so like level-headed about everything. And we weren't the only people there. There was a few other people, but everyone else there had a smile. My friend, she wasn't smiling. She was not having a great time. So we get her checked out, and at one point the team is like, hey, you guys really should go to the hospital, because if this is as bad as she's saying it is, y'all need to get this checked out immediately. So I'm like, okay, got it. So our Knocked Loose concert gets cut a little short. We only missed the end by like 2 songs. So I'm still happy. I had a great night, and she enjoyed like the rest of the bands. So we do live in the US, so we can't afford an ambulance. We Uber to the nearest emergency room, and we spend the rest of our night there. It takes us like an hour and a half of waiting in the room to get us in, just because I guess she wasn't in enough pain for them to get her in sooner. I don't know. I don't work in a hospital. So we finally get her into a hospital bed after an hour and a half of waiting. Things are like looking up. She's in a lot of pain, but laying down feels a bit better. We go through 2 rounds of x-rays over the course of about 6.5 hours. And the doctors say, hey, it's a hairline fracture. While we're getting this news, we had to find some way to entertain ourselves during this time, because there were so many periods of like waiting between times that the doctors weren't in with us. So on the TV, they had fucking Rise of Kong on the TV. And so we're like laughing at how bad this movie is. She's in pain, but she's like laughing hurts, but this is so bad, it's so good. We're having a little bit of fun there. We get the news about the compression fracture. We're like, okay, at least it wasn't nothing. We're here for a reason, and we did learn something at the end. So they basically just give her pain meds, says, don't lift anything heavy, and then we go on. So we entered the hospital around 10:30 p.m., somewhere around there. We got out of the hospital in daylight at about 6:30 a.m. So we entered the venue for Knocked Loose in daylight, and we left the hospital in daylight. Neither of us have slept the entire time, so we're completely just drained of energy. But we finally get to Uber back home and rest up for the day. And then we ended up door dashing Tropical Smoothie Cafe later that day. Everything is good now. She's back to walking. She still has obviously some back pain, but things are looking up. So that's where I've been. Normal videos will resume very shortly. I have a long one that I'm planning on making very soon. Thank you for listening. Later.